Good morning, my friends. This is Shirley, and back with another session from Shirley's library. So today I want to tell you about a book that I found life-changing. One concept in the middle of this book was amazing for me to learn and changed a lot of things for me. So I'm going to tell you about this book. I think it's the third one in a series by Robert G. Allen and Mark Victor Hansen. Now, first of all, their biggest bestseller was The 1 Minute Millionaire. That was the first one that came out. Then they came out Cracking the Millionaire Code. So that was the next one. But this concept that I said was life-changing came out in a book that they did, Cash in a Flash. Now, I really need to learn to be able to turn that around so it's not back to front for you. Anyway, Cash in a Flash. Now, this is a really interesting book because it's both fiction and non-fiction. For example, on one side is the story, and on the other side is non-fiction and explaining the concepts and everything. So you can read it as a story or you can read it as a self-development book. Very clever. It can be top for both fiction and non-fiction at the same time. What was the concept that I came across that was so life-changing for me? Well, you know how maybe you don't, but when I do goal setting, I get really excited, I get really enthusiastic, and I write them all out. We do this every year, write them out, and then I make a little plan. I'm not good at planning, but I make a little plan. But then often what I found was a day or two later, it's like someone had pulled the plug and all my enthusiasm had drained away. And I never understood what that was. It was like this huge struggle to get back into that excitement, to get back into that state of mind I'd been in when I'd been goal setting. And this book talked about, when you make plans or you do goals, and then suddenly afterwards you find yourself feeling depressed, heavy, upset, your motivation to move forward is gone, your enthusiasm wanes, and you wonder where it went. And I went, oh man, bingo, that's it, that's me. And then they start to talk about this inner critical voice, and says everybody has this inner critical voice. And I just thought, I don't think I do, but the outcome shows that I do, because then you start to doubt yourself, you start to question. It says it activates a host of negative emotions, including fear, doubt, and worry. And I thought the outcome shows I did, but I wasn't aware of it. And then as I went through reading this book, they started talking about playing with the volume dial on this inner voice. Now, what I found was my inner dial on the voice was turned right down. I couldn't hear this voice. So they talk to you about turn the dial up and listen to what it's actually saying. And it brings up all the doubts, and it's a critical voice, doubting that you can do what you're saying. And some people's voices are really loud and they can hear it and they're aware of it. So for them, it would be great to get that dial and turn that right down, because they say there's a great relief when that critical voice has been dialed down. But for me, the relief was turning it up and discovering it was there, and understanding that it was undermining my motivation and my enthusiasm and draining it away and making me doubt myself. And so that was such a discovery for me. I found it amazing. And in fact, just picking this book up again, I think I'm going to sit down and reread it again, because I bet if I reread this book, I'm going to find something else that I may have missed the first time. So it's called Cash in a Flash. It is Fast Money in Slow Times, Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen. They bought out a lot. And that 1 Minute Millionaire was their huge bestseller. But I found that this one, with its inner voice discussion, was such an aha moment for me. I wanted to share it with you today. So that's the book from my library today. I hope you enjoyed it and you get something of it, and it gives you something to think about with yourself. Have a listen. Do you have that inner critic that you can hear clearly? Do you need to turn it down? Or do you just lose your motivation and not be aware of that inner voice? So then you need to dial it up so you can hear it, and so that you can understand why your motivation is suddenly drained away. So that's it for me today. I'll see you again next week with another book from Shirley's library. Have a good one.